Good morning. My name is Tim Elkins, and I'm here to talk to you today about the greatest generation and one of the members of that greatest generation, my grandfather, Harold Libby. We have Generation X, we have Generation Y, but our country will only have one greatest generation for multiple reasons. World War I, the Great Depression, World War II. It's a generation that personified hard work, perseverance, determination, and overcoming all sorts of obstacles. My grandfather, Harold, was born in Saco, Maine in 1919 and immediately took to aviation. Him and his brother would build model aircraft. They built the engines, and they would build the aircraft out of balsa wood. And they loved flying aircraft and um, loved teaching other people how to fly as well. My grandfather transitioned into a private pilot and a private pilot flight instructor up in Saco, Maine. When World War II kicked off, the Army was completely desperate for aviators and anyone who had any knowledge about how to fly. So my grandfather enlisted. He joined the Army and eventually ended up in the Army Air Corps, where he learned how to fly the B-24 Liberator. Throughout his time in World War II, my grandfather, flying the B-24 Liberator, flew in over 24 combat missions in Europe, including the D-Day invasion of June 6, 1944. That was something that he was always very proud of, that he was able to participate in such a historic military action and live to tell about it, because of course so many Americans did not. My grandfather, a year after the war, married my grandmother, Ruth, in 1945 in Kankakee, Illinois. My grandpa started working at a water heater factory and did that for 35 years. The water heater company was named A.O. Smith. So if you have an A.O. Smith water heater in your house, my grandpa could have drafted or engineered the design for that water heater. While he worked at the factory, he still continued to fly and loved to fly. Kankakee is just south of Chicago, Illinois, so he would fly into and out of O'Hare Airport before it became the monstrosity that it is today. And transitioned over to the Air Force in the reserves and retired as a lieutenant colonel in 1984. So when I was really young, I was born in 1985, I always knew that my grandpa was very involved in aviation, and I like to think that because of his participation in the war, I looked up to him and I wanted to be like him. And that's why I became so involved in aviation. And that's why I'm going to aviation school today. It's all because of my grandfather and the contributions that he made to his country, to his family, and what he did for me personally and for everybody. Just like many of my classmates and peers at work have relatives that were part of the greatest generation, we're forever indebted to them because of what they had to endure and what they did for us. We have life really good today because of people like my grandfather and others who fought in World War I, World War II, endured the Great Depression, and made life better for us today. So, again, my name is Tim Elkins, and I just want to commemorate the greatest generation and one of the members of that greatest generation, my grandfather, Harold Libby, who I love very much. We lost him last year in March 2014. He was 95 years old, and everyone that came to his funeral said what a great life the man lived. He did it all, and he ended up with 4 grandchildren and multiple great-grandchildren who love to go and visit him. And Papa will always be in our hearts, and we'll miss him forever.